After buying your GoPro, one of the very first questions you ask yourself is, what settings should I use? The one thing about GoPro cameras is that they give you a lot of different settings to choose from. We all want to capture the best video possible without having to spend hours editing it. So which settings exactly give you the best footage straight out of the camera? What's going on, guys? It's Ray here, and today I'm going to be giving you the best settings for no edit video with your GoPro camera. Now before we get into today's video, if you haven't already and you love GoPro cameras, make sure to subscribe with notifications turned on so you never miss out on new videos. Luckily for me, I've been using GoPro cameras for over 5 years now, so I've gotten down which settings I like the best and which ones to use in certain situations. However, a lot of people struggle finding the best settings to use. And I mean, I completely understand this. It took me a lot of trial and error before I figured out the best settings, and I'm going to be using all of that research in today's video. So starting things off, let's go over the best settings for video on your GoPro. These settings do work for most GoPros out there, not just the 11. Once you open your GoPro, it really doesn't matter which preset you use. I have a custom one called water that I use while diving, but besides for that, I stick with the standard mode. You're free to change these up as much as you want, so let's dive on it. Let's start off with the most important, resolution and frame rate. If you're looking for the best video with minimal edits needed, 4K is the way to go. It looks really good and crisp, and 5.3K isn't really necessary. It'll waste your battery life really fast, and 4K is easier to export video with and looks just as good in my opinion. When it comes to frame rates, there's two options. I usually film in 60 or 120 FPS because I like to use a lot of slow motion in my videos. However, that does require editing, and that's not the point of today's video, so the best non-edit frame rate to use is 24 frames per second. Most movies are shot in 24 frames per second because it's really cinematic looking. However, if you're doing something with fast movement and do want that slow motion, then 60 or 120 frames per second is the way to go. Now let's move on to field of view. I highly recommend using linear instead of wide because it gets rid of that old school action camera look and makes your video look really crisp. Next, you should of course have hyper smooth stabilization turned on as long as your GoPro has it. As long as you're not using 4K 120, make sure you have 10-bit color turned on if you're using the Hero 11, as this will make your videos color really pop. But if you don't have the 11, there's no need to worry because there's other ways to get your videos color to pop. I'd leave your white balance on auto mode if you're just filming during the daytime. However, that changes if you're going underwater or filming at sunset. Check out some of my other GoPro settings videos if you want to know about other situations. Again, if you're just filming during the day, then your ISO minimum should be at 100 and max should be at 800. Those probably work the best, but if you're worried about your video being a little too dark, then you can turn your max up to 1600, which works just as good. Plus, make sure that your sharpness is set to at least medium. I usually have mine set on high because it makes your video look really sharp and really crisp. Alright, now let's move on to the best photo settings with your GoPro. When it comes to photos, I always leave my field of view on linear. It makes your landscape look a lot better and overall gives you the best quality photo. You rarely find any professional photos online that have that wide field of view that make it look like it did come from an action camera. Next, if your GoPro has it, then make sure you're using Super Photo. This will also help your photos look the best that they possibly can, so make sure you have it turned on. Leave your white balance on auto and your sharpness on high, and that should leave your photos looking really good. Photo settings aren't too complicated, which makes it a lot easier to handle. Now, the settings in this video are meant to serve as the best for non-edit videos, meaning they work the best if you just want to upload it somewhere straight from the camera. If you want to know the best settings for underwater or even cinematic video, you can find those videos on my channel. Alright guys, so make sure to let me know in the comments section down below if you have a GoPro and which settings you plan on using if you do. But that is going to wrap up today's video, but before you go, make sure to smash that like button and most importantly subscribe with notifications turned on so you never miss out on awesome videos just like this one. I'm Ray Tiller and I'll see you on the next video.